Hi, this is Sherry Veronica. Please stop talking about Uber. Please stop talking about the boogeyman, Uber. You already know that you don't want Uber in Barbados. You already have said that when Uber has been established in some of the island chains, that everything goes bad. And you don't want to say it. Nobody wants to say it. But the truth of the matter is, they're con people, taxi people have a criminal element, and depending on your accent, the price can go up. The prices will go up. Uber would stabilize everything. Everything would be equal. Everything would be upfront. Everything would be organized with Uber, because when you book an Uber, it tells you how much you're going to pay. If you say you are here and you want to go there, and you put in that information in Uber, and the Uber driver comes to get you, you pay that amount, and then afterwards Uber will send you a little survey to say, well, how was your driver? Did they drive too fast? Was the car clean and that kind of stuff? So you have an opportunity to say, yeah, he was smoking marijuana. Yeah, that Uber driver was driving really fast. That Uber driver stopped at the rum shop before he took me to where I needed to go. So Uber, don't play that. Uber does not play those kind of games that you could stop at the rum shop, you could take someone around the cart road to stop at the chasel or whatever to pick up a bread and two, and you got back in. They don't play that. So Uber is not going to work in Barbados, and you know it's not going to work in the other islands that have people who are criminals. They're criminals driving the taxis. You know it. Now you got me telling you it, but you know it. You've known this, okay? You know this. I shouldn't have to say it. I was trying to be politically correct. I was trying to be politically correct before. But now I'm here, I'm looking at the Uber boogeyman. The only boogeyman there is your taxi service in Barbados, who would put up the fare as they like. If they think you have a lot of money, the fare doubles, triples, whatever, they'll hold you hostage. They're going to hold you hostage. With Uber, that would not be. Uber will eliminate all of that. All of that will be eliminated. And then some people who are driving the Uber, who are under, the Uber auspices, if you sign up, you will be signed up. Is that a word? You will be pushed off to the side. You would no longer be working for Uber. Uber in Barbados would be an organized type of outfit for taxi drivers and people who have time on their hands and they have a nice car and they don't mind making some extra money. That would be very organized. But the taxi guys in Barbados, who they're the ones who, not all, I think I should say that, but they're the ones who share a lot of counterfeit money. You will give them American dollars, good money, and they would exchange it and give you some counterfeit money along with the Bajan money. That is where a lot of counterfeit money is circulated in Barbados through taxi service. And if you have Uber, there's no money, there's no physical money exchange. You'll be doing it through an app, and your credit card will be attached to the app, and everything will be smooth and seamless. You can't have that in Barbados. Who do you think you are, Uber? Uber is not the boogeyman. The boogeyman is in Barbados. The boogeyman is Barbados. Okay, so I didn't really want to say. I talked about Uber like 2 times before, and it was on the tip. Oh my God, it was on the tip of my tongue to say. But you guys are criminals. You guys got some criminals and criminal-minded and people who just want to take your money. And if you have an accent, and they think that, you know, you're handling some money. They can look at your luggage and see if it's like Louis Vuitton luggage, and they can think you have money, and that your fare will go up. With Uber, that would not be the case. That will not be the case. So if the politicians, you know, they work for the gang leaders and that kind of stuff, you know how it works. Stop. Please stop trying to pull me into being politically correct. I don't like it. I personally do not like that. Okay? You have to speak the truth. A lot of the politicians, they're doing things. People are doing things in Barbados, and it's underhanded, it's under the table. It's called kickbacks and bribes and that kind of stuff. That's what's happening in Barbados. And when they said, oh, Uber have to follow the rules or whatever, what Barbados legislature should do, what the police should do, what the Attorney General should do, is look at the portfolio of Uber, look at what they have as law and regulations for the taxi drivers, and mesh and upgrade what you have. It's an upgrade. It's an upgrade. I would say, before being politically correct, Uber, don't have Uber in Barbados, because the taxi drivers are not going to be able to do what they want to do. So if you know that Uber's presence is a cleaning, is like a cleansing of that particular industry, it is a cleansing of that particular industry, and you saw in other islands how that cleansing, it didn't work out. It did not work out. People need to give other people bad money. They need to cheat people. They need to, you know, do whatever they, you know, stop, you know, park on the side, drive fast, whatever, smoking, you know, the car smell of marijuana. They want to be able to do what they want to do. So yes, Uber will not work in Barbados. But if you want to clean up an area, the taxi service area, if you want to have visitors come to Barbados and they're able to use their app to take a taxi from here to there and not worry about their accent, not worry about their Louis Vuitton luggage that is a big, big red flag that they're going to get ripped off, if they don't want to worry about that, if you want to clean up that particular industry and bring Barbados in line, if you could have, if you are so, you want to act as though you got it going on, and you have the coffee, Starbucks, you have Starbucks there. Starbucks coffee is very expensive. It's very expensive, but you have it there, right? If you have Starbucks there, and you really could have had a mama papa kind of, you know, coffee cafe, you know, like even Jamaican coffee, and I don't know if you have coffee from Barbados, but you could have done it that way. But you have Starbucks in Barbados. If you have Starbucks in Barbados and people want to act bougie, and they're going to Starbucks, you know, coming out sipping on it with the Starbucks, you know, they do it here too. They do it here. A lot of people come up to Starbucks with that Starbucks container all up in the air, and they're sipping, and, you know, almost getting hit by cars and that kind of stuff because they're showing off. I don't understand what the show off part of it is, but it is something. When I traveled to Europe, I always went to countries that had a Starbucks, because you can sit there for hours, and you can do your thing, you know, online and that kind of stuff. So it's a good thing. It's a good thing. So if you were to bring in Uber and make people feel comfortable calling an Uber to go here and there in Barbados, so you won't have to have them think about taking the bus or renting a car or whatever. It's an option that is up. It's an elevation. It would be good for Barbados. But the thing about the good for Barbados would not be good for the taxi drivers. And I'm saying that some taxi drivers are the ones who distribute counterfeit money. I'm telling you that they are the ones who disseminate counterfeit money in Barbados, some of them. I'm telling you that just to go from here up the street and you're a visitor, it could cost you a whole arm and a leg. I'm telling you, it happens that the taxi drivers have a criminal element to it. Taxi drivers have a criminal element associated with them in Barbados. Some of them, I have to say not all, but Uber coming online was streamline all of that. It was Uber is not the boogeyman. The taxi service in Barbados is the boogeyman, just like how you have those vans and your kids are on there listening to nasty music and talking about things that they should not be hearing, but you guys like it. That would not, let's say that Uber were to get into that particular industry, all of that would be done. All of that would be done, but you guys are not part of the, you have to elevate. There's a vibration. And you can vibrate at a higher level. You don't want to hear that now. You don't want to hear that about vibrating at a higher level. You don't want to hear that talk. You just like to walk up and shop and whatever else you want to do. So yeah, so Uber will not work in Barbados because there's a criminal element to the taxi service in Barbados. I wanted to say that before and I came out politically correct and it haunted me. It haunted me. Okay, so now I'm saying it. There's no boogeyman in terms of Uber. Okay, the boogeyman is the way taxi drivers and taxi operators work in Barbados, raising their fare, stopping where they're not supposed to stop or doing what, maybe they're taking routes that they shouldn't take or whatever. What the thing about Uber is it works a lot with the grid, the satellite grid, and if a foreigner gets in an Uber, you can see it's right there. I use Uber all the time. Okay, I'm very quick to call Uber because I don't like driving. Okay, I don't like driving, unless I have to. But yeah, so it's showing you where you should go. So the taxi drivers and the person in the back can see, okay, the car is in the lane that I'm seeing that I should get where I should go to get to the Hilton Hotel, and it's not going around in a circle, going all around the way and what. It's a good thing. It's a good thing. Okay? It's a good thing. And like I said before, taxis here in America, the yellow cab, they're separate from Uber. When you come out of the airport, the yellow cabs are right there at the front. To get into an Uber, they're saying like a mile away. A mile away. You have to walk, go through doors, walk, and ask the guy, well, where's the Uber? And said, go around the corner, make a left, and then make a right, and make another. And it's like in a dark area, and you're like, oh my God. This is far and it's dark and it could be dangerous. It's still at the airport, but they're out of the way. So there's a separation that makes it not so good for Uber, but they're still operating. They're still operating. So you have the taxi, the yellow cab, and other color cabs at the front because they were there for their grandfathered in. They're there. And then you have Uber where you have to go out of your way and go further, but they're still operating, so it's still working. Have to work it like that in Barbados, maybe. You have to work it like that in Barbados. Let the taxis that are there and don't want to join on, let them do their thing, and then let the moms and pops and the sons and daughters who have downtime and have a car and they drive carefully and they're not smoking or whatever in the car, let them make some extra money with the Uber app and separate it. But as it stands, the only boogeyman in this particular equation would be the taxi operators in Barbados because there's a criminal element to it. There is a criminal element to it. Okay? This is Sherry Veronica.
Help me spread the word about Naked Departure via social media. Subscribe and share to show support and love for our channels.